You want to know more information on the whole Dr. Mike PhD situation? Okay, well, here I am. Right, I finally given in. I've seen all these videos of people talking about it, and to be honest, I didn't really care that much. You know how these science guys are. People love their science, and people freaking out about this PhD thing. And I saw Mitchell Hooper made a video about it, and that's this large gentleman right here behind me. Mitchell Hooper is a super cool guy, strong man, dude. So I'm going to listen to his take on it, but to be honest, this whole like PhD thing, people are just freaking out about this. He lied, he didn't lie. Well, we found errors in his PhD paper. People who are like think it's this big deal, like this big gotcha. We found an error in your PhD paper. I don't think these people have ever done college before, okay? Because that's like, it's really not a big deal, right? There's like errors in everything, right? It's like they're holding up these these institutions on this pedestal, like this incredible thing. Like, well, if you got a PhD, it must mean, it's like they think it's this huge deal when like it's really not, okay? There's a whole lot of people in the world that get PhDs, right? Just think about the dumbest person that you know that has a PhD. Somewhere they have some PhD paper that they did about some nonsense that's not important, that nobody will ever read again. What's the big deal here? What's the big deal here? Okay, so we're gonna. I want to hear from Mr. Hooper here. Again, super cool dude. We're gonna hear what Mr. Hooper has to say about this, and I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. Okay, we're gonna react to it. I think that the thing is, I think that a lot of people are just looking for a reason to hate on Dr. Mike, and I hate that I'm in this situation where like I'm like almost defending Dr. Mike. Even though I really don't even care that much, and you guys know how I feel about the science guys, but leave him alone. Leave Dr. Mike alone. He's made so many videos. Is he weird? Is Dr. Mike weird? Yes, Dr. Mike is weird. Does he do some cringy things? Yes, I'll say yes. He makes a lot of weird noises when he works out and yells a lot, and he's kind of said some weirdo things about maybe he has some psychological issues that he should probably get, maybe take some time to reflect on, think about. Yes, and yes, double yes, yes to all of the above. But he's done a lot of good too, right? He's made a whole lot of videos, I think he's helped a whole lot of people. And has he ever hurt anyone? Who's he hurting? What's he hurting? Yeah, it's just not a big deal. Okay, let's get into it.
Recently, there's been a lot of chatter online about Dr. Mike Isratel's PhD. The critique by Solomon Nelson is this: his dissertation wouldn't pass at a top-tier university.
So what? His dissertation wouldn't pass at a top-tier university. Like I said, I don't know if you guys have the people who are saying these things. I don't know if you've ever been to school. You've been to school, obviously, but been to college. Okay, so I'm actually working on my second bachelor's degree right now. Okay, so I have a bachelor's degree in business administration. That bachelor's degree taught me nothing about business at all. I don't even remember what I did in that bachelor's. The second bachelor's I'm doing right now, I'm actually doing a bachelor's in software engineering. That one is a little different. I'm actually learning quite a bit. I've learned a lot, big time, a lot in that bachelor's. When you're going to these schools, right, you're going to college, like there's errors in the training material, right? And sometimes the instructor will email you and there's a typo in their email. It's like you can't expect absolute perfection at every little corner of this thing. Like it's it's just regular people doing this stuff. And that's the thing, is like this whole PhD thing, like you're putting that PhD on a pedestal. You know what I mean? You can't put that PhD on a pedestal because you're gonna be disappointed. once you look behind the curtain. And I think that the people who are like surprised by this, I think it's two groups mostly. I think it's people who don't really have a lot of exposure to people with college degrees. Hate to break it to you, right? But a college degree doesn't mean dick, okay? It doesn't mean anything. I've known tons of people. When I was an instructor, I met tons of people, right? Like thousands of people when I was an instructor. I actually instructed probably thousands of people. People with college degrees are the most unteachable people there is, right? Because when you get somebody in that environment that just graduated high school and they just graduated, they think they know everything, and there's this like sense of elitism, right? And it's like you can't teach them anything because they already know what's right? I got a degree and blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, it's just like, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. I would much rather take the farm-raised kid from Iowa, right? Like the corn-fed kid who's like 6'1" from Iowa, and he's like, "Oh, hey, man." He's like kind of goofy and not super smart. But I can, if he's strong, I can teach you I can mold you into exactly what I need you to be, right? But, these college guys, they're hard. They are a challenge. They challenged me regularly. Oh, the other group that I think is getting really upset about this is the my school is better than your school crowd. Like this elitism, this annoying, unearned authority. Like, oh, I got a degree from this school and your degree is only from this school, so I'm better than you. It's like, dude, stop, man. You sound like a geek right now. You sound like such a nerd. Oh, this dissertation wouldn't pass at a elite school. So what? And what? So what?
Research Dr. Mike did isn't rigorous, and really this shows that he's not qualified as he says he is. People are taking that critique on the one paper and using it to discredit his entire body of work, and the whole thing is a fraud.
See, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying a few minutes ago. They're taking this, whatever happened with his paper, and saying that, everything else must be bad too, right? Two things can be true at the same time. Could he have cut corners on his PhD paper? Probably. I would. If I was doing a PhD paper, I would be doing the bare minimum just to pass, just to get the paper, right? Because realistically, when you're doing all that PhD research, what is it for? It is so that you can pass and get your PhD. And that's it. Why would I sit there and do all this extra stuff, right? When I got other crap going on. Why would I sit there and do all this extra stuff? Brother, I'm here to get this degree and to be on my way.
Now, here's my opinion. Being honest is important, and a dissertation is one piece of writing at one point in time done under one committee. It's not necessarily the final word on your value as a scientist or an educator. So in this video, I want to break down what the critiques actually are, why people are even bothering to nitpick a dissertation from more than 10 years ago.
That's a great question, and honestly, I can't wait to find out because I'm super curious about that myself. Why people are even... I think it's just I hate to say it, right? Because I'm not even a super huge fan of Dr. Mike because I think he's like a nerd. I don't like all this. I'm not a big fan of the science-based lifting crowd. But here I am defending Dr. Mike, okay? How did I get here?
From someone doing good work right now, and why credentials and titles matter far less than actions and contributions.
Thank you, Mr. Hooper. Titles, these titles and certifications, they matter nothing at all. Okay, when I was in the military, I cannot tell you how many times I almost died because somebody else said, "Trust me. I've been doing this for 10 years. Or, I've been doing this for 15 years. Okay, I'm a certified team leader. I've been doing this for this number of years." Okay, you can do this for 15 years and you can still be wrong, right? However long you've been doing it or whatever title you've achieved, it is like I see everybody as a blank slate, right? Everybody is kind of like equal, right? I don't care if you've been doing it for 20 years. I don't care if you've been doing it for 2 years. Either your idea is good or your idea is bad, or what you did is good, what you did is bad. Now, I might internally kind of like weight it a little differently. If somebody's been doing this for 20 years and they tell me something, I might spend an extra couple seconds kind of deliberating on that and thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, that, take that in, right? Soak it up. Still a grain of salt though, but I'm not just going to take their word as gold. They've been doing something, for X number of years, or they have this certification. People are so quick to fall for this appeal to authority fallacy, right? It's like as soon as somebody's wearing a lab coat or something, I see it happen all the time on Facebook. Somebody will start sharing this article. It says, scientist says it rains diamonds on Jupiter. Oh, cool. That's so sweet. Like, you're such a dingus. You didn't even think about that for 2 seconds. There's no way for anyone to know that.
Why Dr. Mike's actual legacy should be measured by what he's done for the strength world and not by a dusty PDF on a university's.
I totally agree, right? The fact that this PDF was up there, who uploaded it, who knows, who cares? I think that what Dr. Mike has contributed to weightlifting and bodybuilding world in general, and the people that he's helped, I think that's more important than whatever PhD paper he's got up there. I am only 55 seconds into this video. It is not looking good. Let's keep going.
Server. Now let's dive into the actual critiques themselves. And these are incredibly annoying. And to be clear, none of these critiques say that Dr. Mike doesn't actually have a PhD. He earned a PhD and there's no dispute on that at all. It's just that this YouTuber simply doesn't like that he passed his PhD because he didn't like his dissertation. Dr. Mike has since...
That's it right there. That's it right there, right? This all happened because this one guy made this video talking about how Mike's dissertation sucks. It's out there, just getting people to jump on the hate bandwagon. What can you do?
Just made a video talking about how this was just an edit, a draft of his dissertation. It was finalized afterwards. But regardless, this guy got 1 million views saying Mike's dissertation is weak and that it wouldn't pass at high-level schools, that it doesn't meet the standard of real science. And here's
the other thing is saying whatever one he was looking at.
where I want to slow down, because I think this is a really important point. Even if that is all true, even if his dissertation really was the weakest academic paper that you've ever seen, does that actually matter to the lifter who just wants to know how many sets of bench press to do per week? What's the best?
Nope. Not at all.
Exercise to grow biceps. How do you get strong? How do you get big? How do you eat? But the reality is
No, it doesn't matter at all. Right? And the fact is, yeah, Mike makes money from fitness stuff, right? He's got his app that he sells. I don't know what else he sells. But the guy is one of the most prolific fitness people on the internet. He's made countless hours of free material, teaching people how to do this exercise and that exercise. And maybe I might not like all of his methods, right? I might not agree with everything that he says, but he's still got a lot of information out there, right? And even if he makes a video, right? And let's say it's about like how to grow the shoulders, and somebody tries that video and they say, you know what? I did it like Dr. Mike said for a little while, and it didn't work. Right? Let's say that that's the case. They tried. That person still went to the gym, worked out, tried something, and now they know one more thing that doesn't work. Right? And they're still one step closer to figuring out what does work. Right? Because everybody's so different. Right? You have all these different exercises, all these different ways to work out and exercise. There's no like one size fits all for anything strength or muscle building. Anything strength or muscle building related. Nothing is going to fit. Everything is not going to fit for everybody, right? So even if something does work for one person, it's not going to work for the other person. It just is what it is. And Mike has done a lot of good. That's all I'm going to say. Exercise
to grow biceps. How do you get strong? How do you get big? How do you eat? But the reality is most PhD dissertations are entirely forgotten and entirely useless. They're written to satisfy a requirement by a university to graduate, just like other
Boom. That's exactly what I said a few minutes ago. Yes. Mr. Hooper, yes, I couldn't agree more. It's exactly what I said. Most people who are writing these PhD dissertations, they're not really for anything other than writing a PhD paper and graduating. That's it. If I was doing one, it would be the bare minimum to pass. I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry to break the fourth wall, but I would just be checking that box, right? I'm working on my second bachelor's right now, right? And I don't even know how many years of school you have to go through to get to a PhD level, but even 2 bachelors, man, is a pain, right? I've been going to school, on and off for a decade. My brother in Christ, I'm just trying to get through, right? I'm just trying to graduate and not die.
Papers, just like other tests. They're read by a handful of professors, approved by those professors, and then they generally disappear. What people are really doing with these critiques is they're using this dissertation as a proxy for something else and use academia.
Bingo. They're using this dissertation as a proxy for Mike hate, right? And you don't like Dr. Mike Isratel, that's fine, right? That's totally cool. As long as if you don't like him because he's bald, I do take offense to this, right? For obvious reasons, me, Mr. Hooper, right? So bald gang, maybe that's what it is. Bald is backing up bald here. Bald gang.
For something else as well. And this is authority. They want to say if your PhD isn't strong, then you're not allowed to be an authority in this space. Or if you don't have higher education that I personally permit, that I like, then you shouldn't be an authority. But
Yep. It's such a goofy, unearned sense of superiority. It's completely nonsensical. It's cringe. It's soy, right? That's what it is. It's soy. Somebody saying, your dissertation's not good enough. It would never pass at my school. My degrees, the degrees at my school are better than your school. That is soy behavior, okay? And when soy is detected, opinion is rejected. Write it down.
Here's the problem. Authority is not granted by titles. It's earned by the quality of the information that you put out. And most of the learning that good people do are after they get out of university. Here are the major points, which I'll give my opinion on in a few minutes, that Solomon makes in regard to Dr. Mike with his paper. Number 1, he used standard deviations that are not possible, which indicates statistical error. As though that matters. Number 2, inconsistent rounding.
I don't. So what?
Number 3, spelling errors. Number 4,
hold on. It's
inconsistent rounding.
Inconsistent rounding. Okay. Okay. It's just. I was right. It's just cringe, soy nitpicking.
Number 3, spelling errors. Number 4, alleged copy and pasted some of the paragraphs.
Yeah, I would do that. I would have done that a bunch of times.
Spelling errors. Number 4, alleged copy.
So he reused the same paragraph a couple times. Okay.
And pasted some of the paragraphs. Number 5, lacks original work. This absolutely has my blood boiling, but probably not what you think. First, let's take a step back and let's talk about what a dissertation actually is. A dissertation is essentially a long paper written to prove that you can do research. Generally, you're looking at some novel phenomenon and trying to explain that through some sort of test before, after, show the results.
It's for school, right? It's for passing a requirement to graduate, right? You're in school and say, hey, here's your requirements for your PhD paper. You got to pick a topic, meet the requirements based on the topic, go, right? You're just showing that you can do the process of the research, right? These tiny little things. And Mitchell is a really nice guy, right? Mr. Hooper is a very nice guy. He's a lot nicer than me. So he's not going to say what I'm thinking, which is these are soy complaints.
It's not required that it changes the world. It's just a demonstration and not necessarily the beginning of a legacy. Einstein's dissertation was on calculating the size of sugar molecules in water. Nobody talks about it and nobody cares. We remember him for the theory of relativity, not for sugar water.
Which is also nonsense, by the way.
Pasteur never earned a medical degree, but he changed medicine forever. So why are we suddenly holding a fitness educator hostage over the quality of his dissertation? It just doesn't make sense.
What do you mean the theory of relativity is nonsense? Have you ever read it? I doubt it. I have. It's nonsense.
As someone with a master's degree myself, I can speak to the breadth of capabilities of people who pursue higher level education because I was sat next to them in class every day. I had people in my class for my master's who were brilliant, and they've gone.
Kind of a side story, right? And so somehow I'm pretty decently successful in college, right? I do okay in school, like I care about it now, but that was not the case. When I was in high school, I was not a good student. I used to keep a pillow in my backpack, and I remember we were in sophomore year, maybe science class, and this girl, great gal, was in my grade. She's just a nice person. She did not deserve to be near me. She's very smart. She always did her schoolwork and everything. And I remember the science teacher was grouping us into projects or into groups to do some group project. And she was reading off who was going to be in the groups. And she had read this other girl's name first, and then she had said my name after. So like I was going to be in that girl's group. And when this girl found out that I was going to be in her science group, she began to weep. She began to weep tears of sadness because, I was a bit of a jokester and I didn't really take school very seriously. And anyways, that experience haunts me still to this day. I still feel bad about that, and I hope she's well.
On to do great work, because some of them are professors now. I had other people in my class who literally never stepped foot in a gym, and they're in a clinical exercise physiology class to exercise people with injuries and chronic conditions. And then they started teaching.
That's another great point, okay? On the topic of nutrition and fitness and everything, I have a coworker recently who went, and if you're watching this video, you're probably someone interested in like nutrition and health and stuff. So you probably at a minimum have like a bare knowledge understanding of like foods that are healthy and foods that are not healthy. Okay. So my coworker recently, older guy, he had to go see these doctors because when he was back in the military, he got blown up a bunch of times, and so he's getting seen for some TBI and brain issues. Anyways, these doctors set him up on a health plan. These are doctors telling him this. And they say, hey, we're going to put you on a different nutrition plan. I want you to, here's how your plate should be set up. Half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables, which is, it's kind of aggressive, but, that's fine. And you take that other half, you split that into two halves as well. Okay, so a quarter of the plate is going to be some kind of protein, but it needs to be soy or plant-based protein, like tofu or something. And then that other corner of the plate, that's whole grains. Okay, so these two doctors telling this guy how to eat healthy, telling him to eat vegetables, which, okay, right, fine, and whole grains, and vegetable-based protein and soy protein. Okay, it's like, do you want him to die? Okay, so like just because somebody is a PhD and a doctor doesn't mean they know anything, right? It doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. Okay, and I'm not saying this relates to Mike. Mike knows a lot of things, right, about supplementation and health and food and stuff. Not the greatest dieter, clearly, but it doesn't matter. Okay, just because somebody has a PhD doesn't mean anything. Okay, I'll shut
teaching
up.
people how to exercise in a gym. Academia seems to think that they have a monopoly on creating educated people, but I can't think of a single thing that I learned in 6 years of post-secondary education that I couldn't learn on a YouTube video. In fact, I probably could have shaved off about 4 years of nonsense courses that the university.
I actually go to YouTube when I'm in courses now and I'm trying to like learn a new topic about coding or whatever in my current course. I usually will go to YouTube and try to figure out, learn the topic from some YouTube videos. Like every single class that I'm in, there's always a full playlist videos on like how to, be better at that particular course.
Require you to take to drive more revenue. In my undergrad at the University of Guelph, I took beekeeping for a semester. Beekeeping.
Cool.
Beekeeping added to my useless word salad. It's good marketing for me to say I have a master's degree and for Mike to say he has a PhD. But if we take a step back and we accept that there are useless people with PhDs and master's degrees, and there are brilliant people with no degrees at all out there,
again, it doesn't mean anything. You can be brilliant with no PhD. You could be brilliant with a PhD. It just doesn't matter, right? The degree doesn't make you smart. You're either smart or you're not. You have a degree or you don't.
Well, who cares? There's no lie. So whether you're a great PhD or a bad PhD in the eyes of academia are pretty irrelevant to your professional standpoint, your professional success. In fitness, we don't need a word salad behind our names. We need educators and we need practitioners. We need people who can take knowledge, gather knowledge, interpret data, and turn it into something you can use at the gym. So now that we know what a dissertation is, let's talk about why it matters. I can't, because it doesn't matter at all. Never mind if you have rounded correctly.
This video is even better than I thought it was going to be. This is exactly Mr. Hooper. Again, this is why I love Mitchell. He's a great guy. Again, he's nicer than me by leaps and bounds. But this is exactly what I'm saying. Why does it matter? It doesn't. It doesn't matter.
And consistently, or if your statistical analysis was as good as it could have been 13 years ago, it does not matter one iota. Yes, it's a contribution to the scientific world, which is great, but it's really just a gateway to other academia or other research jobs in the private sector. As much as the brainwashing education.
And again, that's really the only thing that a degree does, is a degree will help you get a job. From all of the job applications I've looked at, it seems like a lot of employers will take a 4-year degree and consider it basically the same as 4 years of experience in that field. So it does help you get a job, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Education and university system make.
And I would argue that having 4 years of experience is actually much more relevant than having a 4-year degree.
So you think that getting a PhD is the cream of the crop?
Really, having a degree just means that you can, like, if you have a 4-year degree, it shows employers that you are willing to sit down and do boring things and stay locked in, right? And just kind of keep showing up. It shows that you're consistent, I think, and it shows that you have a level of consistency and that you're willing to just keep trying over time and make a lot of small contributions to meet this larger goal, which I think that's what it signals.
It's just not. If you want to contribute to the world, how on earth is diving into the smallest of minutia useful whatsoever? Maybe the one person who you run across in your 50 years who applies the very specific, unique circumstance that you've researched can marginally benefit so long as they met your inclusion criteria. And now they can adhere to the findings 100%. They can get some marginal benefit, but then we have to consider the normal distribution of results. And so they may benefit, they may not benefit. So what are we doing? The amount of research versus the amount of application of said research, it has a massive disparity. I sat at the National Conference for the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiologists listening to the top-level research.
Also, if you can look at Mitchell's hands, dude's still chalked up from the gym. Okay, this is why this guy's the GOAT. This guy's the all-time GOAT.
In Canada, in exercise physiology, talk about the absolute perfect protocol for improving heart disease, diabetes, blood flow, whatever. And honestly, all I could think is how these people have totally lost the plot. And some of them are my old professors, and I like some of them, but they have no idea what's going on. They aren't thinking about the actual people who they are trying to implement this research for, the people who won't adhere to it anyways and need more help psychologically than physiologically. The whole academic world has lost the plot. This is the cancer of science-based lifting that Mike Isratel is now at the mercy of. Someone's dissertation wouldn't pass at Harvard, so they can't make YouTube videos giving advice? Really? Not everyone's like this. Jeff Nippert has voiced his support. Mike Isratel has largely got support, but there is a faction of people who are calling into question the credentials. But the bigger question is, what's more important, contribution or credentials?
100% contribution is more important, okay? The credentials, they don't mean anything.
A PhD is a great credential. It's the pinnacle of the academic world, for those who care. It's a passport,
which is not me,
into the academic world, and it says, I've been trained to produce knowledge. But contribution is what actually matters to people. It's what actually changes people's lives. And the question of contribution is, have you actually made the fitness community better? Have you taught people things that have improved their training and their approach? And have you left the field stronger than you found it? And by that measure, Dr. Mike is a giant. He's made hypertrophy training principles accessible. He's given people frameworks like volume landmarks that simplify a really complex science, and he boils it down into a way that's really easy to understand and people want to watch. He's made periodization and fatigue management.
See, I really don't even like pausing the video right now to interrupt him, because he's saying just exactly what I was saying earlier and what I feel, which is that he's done so much and he's helped so much people and created so much free content. Okay, to sit there and like critique that there were some spelling errors in his PhD paper is soy behavior.
Understandable. That is contribution. And contribution, in my opinion, always outweighs credentials. My coach, who I would stand behind as one of the best strength coaches in the world.
Notice anything about these three guys right here? Hold on. Let me just quick check this out. Okay. Notice anything about them? Okay. Get in here. You see anything? What? It's a good look. Okay. You see this? This is peak male performance. Okay. You might not like the way it looks, but this right here on your screen, this is peak male performance.
Has no post-secondary degree in strength sports, and I do. But I would stand behind him to coach me considerably faster than I could coach myself, or than someone who has their PhD in strength history. Is this because he knows more about strongman? Well, not necessarily, because the strength historian probably knows more, but because he knows more information that can help me. 99.9% of people who have higher education in muscle building might be able to tell you about how to do it. But how many of them actually do it? How many have actually helped other people do it? Research and evidence can get...
Not many. And that's the thing. You have all these doctors out here. Doctors, they don't really... A lot of doctors don't really know much about nutrition, right? And people think that just because they have some sort of credential means that they can just start... Well, I mean, they can talk about whatever they want, but people just put way too much weight into this stuff. Again, it's the appeal to authority, and it's just like driving people absolutely nuts, right? And Mitchell Hooper has said basically everything that I wanted to say, plus a little more and a little less, and I kind of added some pepper on top of it. Video's going on really long. I think you guys are getting the picture. I think that the hate against Mike is just too aggressive. People are looking to just jump on the screw Mike bandwagon. And I get it, he's kind of weird, and you can get a lot of clicks and stuff by hating on him, but I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.